15th, 2017.
This is Nerd Bourbon episode 15. I'm Seth Sturgill.
And I'm Todd Sturgill.
Hello, Todd.
Hello.
It feels a little bit weird. Getting back into the saddle, coming back to reality. I'm fucking sick. Everything feels off right now. I'm apologizing in advance for... I'm sure I sound congested because I am. I'm honestly a lot better now than I was, but I've been sick for a few days, and you might end up hearing some sickly, gross noises. I'm going to try to edit out what I can, but just a disclaimer, I'm a little bit sick. How are you doing, Todd? Are you as sick as I am?
Oh, I'm good. I'm sick in the head, but that's about it.
Emotionally sick.
But this episode is basically going to be a throwback to when I was sick as shit.
There's it was weird because you happened to get sick when we did a really long episode, the second half of a really long episode.
Yeah.
And then you also were sick during book club last month. It's gonna be you're gonna get a whole bunch of sick boys. So hopefully this virus doesn't contract over the mic.
Oh Lord.
But this episode's gonna be a little bit weird and different. I've been on vacation, obviously. I just got back. We're gonna have a lot of things to talk about, outside of what normal topics would be. So we decided to not bother with normal topics at all this week. We're just gonna be talking about basically what we've been up to over the past 2 weeks. I mean, really, we haven't covered any of that shit for 2 weeks now. So we're gonna cover it now and just kind of make that the entire show. And it's probably gonna end up being a long one. You want to just jump right into it?
Yeah, shit. I'll jump right into it with talking about Absolver, honestly.
Yeah.
So I was gonna end up. I was thinking about doing a solo shots, and then Seth came to me, and he's like, maybe we won't even do a topic-based show."
So yeah,
for episode
makes
15,
sense to just work it into this. Yeah.
Yeah. So I love Absolver.
Just describe what it is. What is Absolver?
Absolver is a game that's published by Devolver Studios, and it was made by Slow Clap. And I honestly think this is Slow Clap's first game.
Okay.
I was trying to find if they made any other games, but I couldn't find any of that. Whatever. So
did the devs come from anywhere, any other games that they've worked on or something? Or
I mean, I'm assuming, but it's I didn't really look into it that much. But so Absolver is an online melee. It's basically it's mainly a PvP experience. That's first and foremost, and it's based off martial arts. There's a lot of I think I talked about it with you for a while. Is how the combat works with the combat deck, and the combat deck is honestly it works out really well. So by the time you level up all the way, you have there's 4 corners of your combat deck, and each of those corners you can have 3 moves. You can create your own martial art, basically. Your fighting style is your own, and I love that. And then how you learn the moves, you can learn by dodging. You can learn either way by fighting NPCs and fighting players. And you can sit there and dodge the moves at the right time, and you'll get XP towards that move if you don't already have it unlocked.
Okay.
And there isn't a lot of there is somewhat of a single player experience, of course, because there's NPCs in the game, and there's also there is a story per se, but it's not anything crazy. But I'll say this: I'm actually intrigued by the world of Absolver, so I wouldn't mind seeing them kind of expand on the single player experience.
Right.
But that's not, again, like I said, the game is mainly a PvP experience. I honestly think the PvP is pretty fun. The one thing that I think they really need to work on right now is fucking with the lag. Because, dude, I got into a combat trial, and it was so laggy, dude. And again, I'm not I wasn't surprised that it's going to have issues like that. I wasn't surprised at all. But if they, get the kinks out, I still play it. I'm still fucking around with it. It's just a fun game to jump on and turn my brain off and do some PvP.
I mean, yeah, it is an indie game at the end of the day, and I mean they it's probably their first foray into this sort of, sounds like it's kind of like an open world interconnected fighting game.
Yeah, that's basically the best way to say it. It's an open world fighting game.
And it's essentially and I haven't seen any gameplay or anything, so correct me if I'm wrong, but is it that you're walking through the open world and you will just kind of just randomly encounter other players?
Yeah.
Is there any cooperative element to that?
Definitely, there definitely is. You can so especially with the solo experience, like there is like these marked ones that you have to fight to unlock the final portion of the single player experience. And you can work together with some people and actually take down the marked ones together.
Okay.
And there's like two bosses. No, yeah, three bosses in the game. Like three solo bosses. You can't. There's no co-op with that. That is stuff you do by yourself. And yeah, there's definitely some co-op shit. You can gank people.
Do they just randomly appear, or when you load in, is everybody already?
So like if you're just chilling in a zone, it'll tell you when people have entered the zone and when people have like left the zone. Because like there's like 3 or 4 zones that you can be in the game, and then like people are just kind of working their way through the world and they'll just pop in and out and stuff like that.
So it sounds like in that respect, it sort of takes a little bit of inspiration from the drop in, drop out, always connected nature of like when you play Journey online and like other players just kind of phase in through the sand.
Yeah, in a certain sense.
That's cool. I mean, it's an intriguing idea, and I mean, it's impressive that a small team was able to pull that off as well as sounds like they did.
Before we move on, I do want to talk about there is a move that I fucking want, and I don't know how to get it. I read about this. There's a bitch slap.
Oh, nice. I think I actually did see that.
Yeah, there's like apparently it's basically it's almost formless, and it's just.
Just like a fucking bitch slap.
Like, I'm like, oh my god, I need it.
Fun fact, I went on Slowclap's website while you were talking to see if I could see, just to look at like their About Us page and see if I could get a sense for where any of these people may have come from. And they don't specifically say, they just say that they're experienced developers, so they probably do come from a AAA background. But I don't recognize any of these names, but what is hilarious is they don't have pictures of themselves. Instead, they have pictures of several GIFs of people clapping. So they have like, the famous GIF of like Heath Ledger's Joker clapping. They have fucking like, Picard, from Star Trek clapping. Like it's pretty good. It's, slow clap,
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, that's good.
Shit. Actually, right before I left on vacation, I finished 2 games, which I did not expect at all. I had the goal in mind. Before I left on vacation, I was like, fuck. Because when I came back, I knew that Destiny was going to be waiting for me. So to put this in the timeline, I was leaving on vacation on September 5th, and I was going to be returning September 9th. Destiny came out on September 6th, so I was like, fuck. When I come back, Destiny is going to be waiting for me, and I knew that was going to take up most of my time, and predictably it has. I had the goal in mind. I was like, okay, let me at least finish my initial playthrough of Uncharted, The Lost Legacy, before then. What ended up happening was, I ended up like Skyping with you a whole bunch, and I was playing Horizon while talking to you, and I got fucking hooked. I just got super into Horizon, like, finally. I'd only put like 25 hours into it at that point, but finally it ended up hooking me, and it really got its claws into me. And I spent a good 20 hours with Horizon just over the course of a few days.
Yeah.
And ended up like finishing it and platinuming it. And I was like, okay. Horizon wasn't the game that I thought I was going to be beating before vacation. And man, I just really love that game. I think that game's really good. I mean, like I was saying, it did kind of take a little while for it to like really get its hooks into me, but I think that's because I didn't really spend any significant time with it. And
also you needed to get Breath of the Wild out of your system.
Yeah, well, Breath of the Wild's never truly out of my system. But I was playing Horizon or whatever, and I think my problem was I'd put like 25 hours into it, but it was 25 hours in like 30-minute chunks or an hour-long chunk or something like that. And this was the first time I'd really just spent like 5-6 hour-long play sessions with the game. And man, like that game does a lot of things really, really well. On the surface, it seems like it's just kind of a really pretty open-world game. Mm-hmm. And that kind of is literally what it is. It doesn't really do anything. It doesn't do too many things new, but the things that it does so exceptionally well. Mm-hmm. Like, it takes all of the open world stuff and removes most of the bad things, adds a few new things that are mostly good, and just does all of the stuff that you're used to really, really well. And like it's just kind of the cream of the open world crop. Like it revolutionizes basically nothing, but it takes everything that already exists and perfects them. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
I really appreciate that about that game. And like on top of it, you know, with open world games, there's all kinds of like concessions that get made with other open world games. Like, oh, this game, yeah, it's a good open world, but it has like a shit story or whatever. Horizon doesn't make any of those concessions. It has plenty of things to do. The world is huge. It's fucking gorgeous. Like, that's the thing about like Grand Theft Auto. Like, it's like, oh, the world's huge, but it doesn't look that good. Never really has. Horizon's beautiful, and the world is huge, and there's plenty of things to do in it. And the story is like way better than it has any right to be. Like the world of Horizon is so interesting, and the story that they've set up is so interesting and unique. And I was like super impressed with it by the end. I mean, I know you finished Horizon, but I don't know if I think you were trying to just like not spoil me on it, so we didn't really talk about it too much.
I wanted you to experience that story like for yourself. I didn't want to spoil any aspect of it because there's a lot of parts later on in the game that are so interesting, and I don't even want to spoil it now. I don't give a shit if the game's been out for whatever.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it either, but I'll just say that in terms of the story, like, it's one of the rare exceptions. Like, a lot of games kind of like sag in the middle or the end or something like that, just trying to wrap everything up. Horizon just gets better and better and better the further you go, and the more you unravel the mystery, the more intriguing it is.
Yes. And there's a couple moments like in the game where I'm just like, I can't wait to see where that goes, like in like the next Horizon.
Oh yeah, or even the DLC that's coming out in November.
Exactly.
I really like was pretty floored by a lot of the things in that game. You know, at the end of the day though, its biggest strength is its biggest weakness for me. Like I complimented it earlier saying that it is like kind of the perfect realization of all open world games, but I do kind of wish that it did some more new stuff, you know, like I think with Horizon 2, I don't think I want it to just be more of the same, you know, like I want, like it was okay for this to just kind of be like, okay, here we are, this is like the perfect version of every open world game of the past 10 years. That's fine, that's great. With Horizon 2, I'm like, okay, now you guys need to innovate. You've shown me that you can perfect everything that is known, now you need to show me the unknown. You know what I mean? That's what Breath of the Wild did really well.
Yeah. I think we actually talked about, like, one of the things I want to see in the next Horizon is the melee combat, like, reworked.
Yeah, because, like, the melee combat's a little clunky and stuff like that, and I don't know, just Breath of the Wild came out, and you know, it's impossible not to talk about those two games in the same breath, because Breath of the Wild just, like, there are so many things that Breath of the Wild did where you're just like, I don't even want to play another open world game where I can't climb on everything.
And that's actually what I was telling you. I was telling you, like, before Breath of the Wild came out, I'm like, dude, you're going to want to try to beat Horizon beforehand.
I tried. It just didn't happen.
Because, because I knew exactly what was going to happen. Because, like, I was able to actually finish my playthrough Horizon. Then I'm like, all right, cool. Now I can enjoy Breath of the Wild, because then it's going to change open world games for me forever.
It's going to change the whole landscape of open world games. No pun intended. It literally did. I'm like, I don't want to play another open world game like this. And, you know, again, Horizon, as great as it is, and I really think it's one of the year's best, and one of the PS4's best for sure. I can't even believe that this game was made by the Killzone guys. That's insane to me, because Killzone, I'm fine with Killzone, but it's not. Horizon's way better.
Oh, well, shit. It's not even like, come on.
No contest. And again, just really impressed by their storytelling chops. Like, Horizon tells a legitimately great, you know, some legitimately great world building, and, you know, it deals with concepts that have been dealt with before, but never quite in that way. And it really sort of, and I kept drawing the comparisons to the Matrix as I was playing it. I was like, this reminds me of like some Matrix tier world building, and now with the player having the knowledge that the player has of the world, and with Aloy having the knowledge she has of the world, where do we go from here? And that's another sort of interesting wrinkle about the story, is like, so many games end and you're just kind of like, okay, whatever. no, the game has actually gotten more interesting now by its end. Like, I want to see what happens next, and that's the highest compliment I can pay that game. It's really good. You should go play it. Do you want to talk about? So, I want to talk about Uncharted: The Lost Legacy just really briefly, because we again, that was the game that I was dead set on beating before I left, and Horizon kind of shot all over that. I ended up just playing nothing but Horizon. But Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, I ended up beating as well. I ended up beating both of them before I had to leave, so that was really surprising to me, but I did it. And I got my initial playthrough of Uncharted out of the way, and man, I really fucking love that game.
Again, I got home from work on one of my off days, and I'm just like, hey, it's out, so let me just sit down and play it. I played it in one sitting because I do regret not doing everything like you did, basically. Mm-hmm. And but it's still, you still get a solid experience with just kind of like rushing through it.
My initial playthrough was like just under 8 hours.
Yeah.
Granted, I'm the trophy whore, so I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna do my crushing playthrough and all that shit. So I would imagine that by the end of it all, I'll probably have like 15 hours on the clock.
That sounds reasonable.
Which, for a $40 Uncharted game is totally fine by me. I really just that game is just really impressive to me. It's the game was made pretty quickly, and yeah, it's in the Uncharted 4 engine, but like I really like the dynamic between Chloe and Nadine, although I still feel like Nadine didn't really get her time in the sun as much as I would have liked.
I agree with you. I wish she kind of had a
little bit more, just a little bit more. I know Chloe needs to be the focus, and I know she's the main protagonist, but I would have liked just a tad bit more of like juice for Nadine, a little bit more. The themes of being in the shadow of your father and stuff like that, and the themes of letting go and stuff are played really well, and it's got a good story, good characters. I think the best puzzles in the entire series, easily for my money.
Yeah, I honestly agree with you.
Like just literally, even just in the Western Ghats, you have to do these like 3 trials. The Western Ghats, I talked about it in episode 13. It's like this open world section. It's kind of like this miniature sort of biome open world, which is really cool. It almost harkens back to like a Metal Gear Solid 5, sort of almost a Far Cry kind of open world element. And anyway, there are these like 3 forts that are mandatory for the story. And there's several forts and several things to do in the area, but the mandatory story ones include these really cool puzzle solving sections.
Yeah.
And man, I was just like, this is like some of the best puzzle solving in the game. It has, I don't want to spoil anything, but it just has great moments in there. They did something really cool with the Queen's Ruby bracelet with people wanting to find collectibles. And I was just really impressed with that game overall. Like, I just thought they did a really good job, and I was kind of like, I'm kind of surprised that Sony doesn't shit out Uncharted games more often, since they're apparently able to make pretty good Uncharted games pretty quickly. So I was like, man, how does Sony not like annualize Uncharted? I guess it's because they care too much.
Whenever they start doing that, like annualizing something, that's when the games kind of go down the shitter.
It is, but you know what? Sometimes you get special things out of that process, and I think like Uncharted: The Lost Legacy is a good example. Majora's Mask is a good example of like a game that sort of like overcame its development cycle. Mm-hmm. Even they turned Majora's Mask out in a year, so but it's really good. I like the I liked the in the Lost Legacy, I liked the lock picking mechanics that Chloe has. And like I sort of said in episode 13, it's just fun to play as Chloe versus Nathan, because like Chloe kind of revels in the whole lifestyle, and Nathan acts like he's got like a big chip on his shoulder, and Chloe's like, fuck it, like literally just fuck it. So I don't know. I really liked it a lot, and I would think for me, my personal hierarchy of Uncharted games now would probably be 4 being my favorite, and then 2, and then Lost Legacy, 3, 1, and Golden Abyss. I think that would probably be mine. What do you think your Uncharted ranking would be?
Basically that.
Yeah.
Except I've never actually played the that last one you said.
Golden Abyss on Vita.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm surprised they never ported that over to PS4. Golden Abyss is a good game, but it's not, it's not anything crazy. It's, it's good for what it is. But anyway, Lost Legacy, that's another one. I really feel like within the span of like 4 days, I played 2 really good games that are probably going to end up on my top 10. Like Horizon and Uncharted are probably both going to have a space on my top 10 this year.
Yeah.
Moving right along, though, we've been playing the ever-loving shit since I got home. You waited patiently for me to get home, which was very sweet of you, so that we could experience Destiny 2 together.
I want everybody to know how hard that shit was.
Oh, I know.
I got it digitally, and it was like sitting there on my dashboard just teasing me, calling out to me, and I'm just like, fuck you, Seth. Fuck you.
Over in Orlando getting engaged and shit. You piece of shit. But we've been playing...
Destiny 2 is more important than I was playing.
We legit... I think we've played, 2 or 3 sittings now?
Yeah.
And we've probably put anywhere in the, 12 to 13 hour-ish...
Yeah.
In Destiny 2. Each time we've played, it's been like a 5-hour session. It's a very good video game.
It's very good. Very fucking good.
What are your initial raw thoughts? What are some of your favorite things about it?
I'm Captain America, biatch. No, the Sentinel subclass, the new starting subclass for the Titans. Right. That's some A1 shit right there.
That goes into, and I've said this to you ad nauseum, but man, the Hunters got the shaft again. We got the new subclass, the Arc Strider. It's cool and all, but it's just Blade Dancer again.
That's the thing I love about Sentinel. Sentinel ends up there's the two code, the code of whatever the code of the 2 codes you can get used. Mm-hmm. Sentinel is its own subclass, and then if you're using one of the paths, you can just sit there and you can use Ward of Dawn if you want. Yeah. The old what the fuck was it called? Defender?
Yeah.
The old Defender subclass is ult basically.
The Titans and the Warlocks each had these really cool, very utilitarian new subclasses. And then I'm not trying to shit on the Arc Strider because I do like it, but again, it's just a more advanced Blade Dancer with even some of the utility taken out. So I was just kind of and then we got Gunslinger again because everybody else got, they got some of their Destiny 1 subclasses. I was like, fuck, man, I don't have shit here. And now, luckily though, minor spoilers, I guess, there is a way for each of the classes to earn back their Taken King subclasses. Mm-hmm. So I actually just got Night Stalker back, and Night Stalker is an amazing subclass. It's probably the only really useful Hunter subclass, and I absolutely love it, and I'm over the moon that I have it back.
One thing I actually want to call out is they actually reworked the Striker subclass.
Yeah, they reworked all of them.
Yeah, I don't know what they did with Gunslinger, but I love the way Striker works now. I'm never gonna use it because I don't see myself using Striker or Sunbreaker. I'm really just gonna be using Sentinel because it was the ascent of Destiny 1. I never even switched from Defender.
Right.
Because it just got to the point where I'm just endgame, Defender was the most useful.
It was just more useful, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm assuming it's going to be the same way with Sentinel, because Sentinel you're going to end up being able to do the bubble, and then it's just going to be the most useful thing to use. I love the way they actually reworked Striker with it has the ult has 2 phases now. So I think I told you about it when I was playing it. Is you still do the Fist of Havoc drop down and you just do the AoE. But then you're electrically charged and you're just going around beating the shit out of people. I'm like, all right. Thank you for making Striker way more viable because I hated the shit out of Striker in Destiny 1.
That is cool. I'll give them that. That is a cool change. They changed Gunslinger up in a cool way too. I haven't actually done it myself because I don't give a shit to play Gunslinger or Arc Strider. As soon as I got Night Stalker, I was like, fuck you, I'm good. But from what I read, Gunslinger has kind of a McCree's Deadeye from Overwatch a little bit kind of thing where it marks 3 targets and you can just kind of quickly shoot the 3 targets.
Oh, they kind of give you that with you can kind of see how that would work with Cade in the beginning of the game.
Yeah, because Cade sort of does that in the beginning of the game. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of what they did to change Gunslinger up.
That's actually pretty legit, honestly.
It is cool. I just don't. Again, it's just not a viable subclass for and I feel like that's what most hunter subclasses have been. It's just been a lot of flash and no substance. You know, does Arcstrider and Gunslinger look and behave cool? Yeah, sure, but it's not useful. And like Night Stalker is so fucking useful because that's the second that came out with Taken King, that was my main subclass, and like I was just forever generating orbs, helping the team out, forever providing support, and also dealing like a bunch of increased damage, and I had that dodge that really I just kind of breezed through that Gorgon fight in Taken King in the raid in King's Fall.
Yeah, that was so good, dude. Oh man, that first raid experience was so good.
Yeah, I can't wait to mess with the Leviathan raid for Destiny 2. But just even beyond that, I would say that Destiny 2, we've been talking about the classes for a while, but I mean, even just beyond that, like Destiny 2 starts off on such a cool, it starts off on such a better foot than Destiny 1 did.
Oh yeah. I made the joke in the first cutscene. I'm like, oh, already more story than the entire Destiny 1.
That's on some real shit, dude. Even though I hated it, oh man, I groaned so hard. I cringed into fucking oblivion.
you overheard it on my mic, right?
Yeah, like I heard on your mic in the cutscene, in the intro cutscene, these motherfuckers had the gall to actually say, and they didn't say it in the first one, and I thought they were smart enough to leave it alone. They actually say, "This is your destiny." I was like, ah.
It physically hurt me when I heard it. I'm like, ugh, shit.
Like, son of a bitch, no. No. But the game, just literally in that one cutscene, you're like, okay, so there's already a lot more story going on here. And we haven't actually completed the campaign yet because there's just so much to do in the fucking planet.
Yeah, and each of the planets, you have lost sectors, you have the region chest, you have the adventures now. And yeah, me and Seth, we've just been kind of like taking our time through the planets and just exploring.
We've hit max level already. We're in the mid 200s, loaded with legendary gear, but we haven't even finished the main story yet. I mean, that's just how much shit there is to do in the world. When we first go to a planet where we don't even worry about the story mission unless they kind of force us to. Yeah. We're just kind of fuck it, let's do these lost sectors, which are basically, I guess we should explain what we're talking about. Lost sectors are essentially little mini dungeons you'll just see in the world. You can pull up on your map and see where they're located at, but you don't know exactly where they are. You have to explore. The game has a really, really good newfound focus on exploration. Mm-hmm. And you see these kind of markings on maybe a cliff face or a nearby wall that will indicate that a lost sector is nearby. And you just sort of find it, and it's a little mini dungeon with a boss. And at the end of it, there's a chest that you can open, and you get loot. And that's basically all it is. But it adds so much, just exploration, just more incentive to actually explore these patrol zones.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
And I love that. And I love the region chests, which were these were essentially in Destiny 1. But it's cool because it rewards you with region-exclusive tokens that can be used for region-exclusive reputation, that can be used for region-exclusive gear, which is really cool. That's just another cool thing that you can do, and more just even more incentive to kind of explore those worlds. And I really like that. I really think that Destiny 2, even though we're still pretty early on into it, the game does a lot to broaden the gameplay loop. You know what I mean?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
You want to shout out some other just quality of life improvements?
Shit, there's a couple, man. I love the inventory system now. The way the menus are they're set up pretty well. You have I love the mods. You can actually rebuild your character now if you have those mods,
Yeah, the mods are cool. The shaders, a lot of people are butthurt that the shaders are not that the shaders are actually consumable now. A lot of people are butthurt about that. I don't really care that much.
I don't care. I think the thing they need to do is just make them buyable.
Yeah, I sort of agree. I on the other hand though, I kind of like that it forces you to be smarter about it.
Yeah,
And,
I respect that.
You know, like you're not just gonna shade every little piece of gear you get. You have to actually kind of think about it, and you have to like kind of. It's more of the decision is more of permanence, and they drop really commonly.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, not the ones that you probably want to use, but they drop.
Yeah, well, and you like, you know, there's going to be like strike and raid exclusive shaders. Like you and I haven't even touched any of the strikes yet.
Because shit, I don't think we can. Until
we can't. We have to beat the game first. So I mean, it's just we've literally spent like between 12 and 15 hours, and we haven't even scratched the surface.
Like to put it into perspective, we are at right now like 217, close to 220. And the next story mission we have to do is the recommended power level is 120.
So the game just has so much fucking juice, you know. Mm-hmm. I've been talking about juice way too much on this podcast, but it does. It has so much juice in it. Like there's just so much to do and so much worthwhile, things to do. I love the addition of the adventures, which are essentially like side missions that are like little mini story missions, and there are significant chunks of lore.
Oh yeah,
in the adventures. Like we did one we did one recently on Nessus that seems to hint at the Curse of Osiris expansion coming this winter a little bit.
Yeah,
which is really cool and interesting, and I just like a lot of the little changes they made. I like that you can fast travel now, and you have a legit map of the planet that you're on.
Yeah, that shit's so good, dude.
A bunch of it just starts off on such a better foot than Destiny 1 did. Like, when Vanilla Destiny came out, you're like, okay, this is a great base, a great world, great gunplay, but fuck, like, does the story suck? And, like, there's some really dumb design ideas here.
I have a question.
Okay.
I want to know if we'll ever see the stranger again.
Yeah, the one who had no time to explain why she had no time to explain.
Exactly.
I think they actually reference that a little bit. I think Cade actually kind of makes a little dig at that in Destiny 2. But who knows? Who knows what's going on with the story? I'm actually kind of intrigued to go through it and see where it all ends up. Because again, the story missions have just been like on the back burner for us. But it's like really, really good. And we haven't even scratched the surface. You can expect to hear about Destiny 2 on this podcast for a long time coming. I imagine this is probably going to be like a weekly discussion for us, is like what's new in Destiny.
Yep, that's it's gonna like what we've been doing is gonna be one part the Destiny podcast.
Yeah, you're just gonna get like 10 to 15 minutes of just the Destiny podcast every week.
Yep.
So I guess to sort of get into the meat of this whole thing, though, I just sort of wanted to talk about my vacation because it was kind of a big deal. It was kind of a big week for me. I mentioned earlier I got engaged. My girlfriend Anastasia is now my fiance, Anastasia, which was cool. I guess I'll just walk through it because I don't think I've even talked to you about my vacation properly.
I was living vicariously through your pictures, but that's about it.
I did. I took a lot of pictures. My parents, just historically, they've always gotten onto my case because I'm so bad about taking pictures. When I'm on vacation, I just never take any fucking pictures. So they always, every time I go to leave somewhere, they're like, okay, make sure you take pictures this time. Anyway, if you don't want to hear me talk about things that aren't video games anymore, I guess you can tune out now. Because from here on in, it's pretty much just going to be me telling Todd about my trip to Universal Orlando. So we flew out on the 5th, early morning. I was kind of, I was expecting the Houston Bush Airport to be a total clusterfuck.
Oh, before you go on, though, I was worried about you heading home.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I'll get into that. But, so, yeah, we had just got out of the woods with Hurricane Harvey. I live in Louisiana. And, Hurricane Harvey hit Texas, and Houston specifically took a lot of damage. And I was really nervous that I wasn't going to be able to fly out on my flight on the September 5th. And the airport literally opened days before my flight was supposed to take off. And luckily my flight wasn't canceled or even delayed. And in fact, I was like, fuck, even if my flight's not delayed, all these people with delayed flights are going to be there on the day that I'm supposed to fly out. It's going to be a total fucking shit show in that airport, you know? And it was not at all. We went right through security. I literally think we showed up like 2.5 hours early for the flight, literally, because I didn't know how long it was going to take to like get the bag checked and get through security and all that. And you know, we wanted to get like some breakfast and stuff like that. But I think I checked our bag and got through security in like maybe 15 minutes.
Oh, damn.
It was like the smoothest airport experience I've ever had. And then like we walked to our gate. We're like, okay, let's see if anybody's there for our gate yet. And there was like 2 people there. And they had these nice tables with like tablets set up and you could just play games on them for free. They had like wall outlets so you could plug in your phone and stuff like that. And there's little personalized lights so you could read a book or like sleep or whatever you wanted to do. And there's a ton of like restaurants. We ate at this like sandwich shop that had like I got a really good like kind of flatbread Italian melt. And
Nice.
just had like such a pleasant airport experience, which is like the opposite of the flight home, which I'll talk about later. The flight home, so I had probably the best airport experience I ever had flying into Orlando. Flying out of Orlando was probably the worst airport experience I've ever had. So anyway, we land at the airport in Orlando, and it's fine. You know, the Orlando airport, the MCO, is it's sort of a fucking mess, especially with Hurricane Irma and everything. A lot of people are trying to fly out, so it's like to evacuate, and it's like a big fucking mess over there. And but anyway, we get to our baggage claim and everything, and we get our bag, and we kind of work our way. We didn't really know what to do because, you know, Anastasia and I had never been to Orlando. I've never been to Orlando, never been to even a theme park outside of like Six Flags, you know, Great America, which we used to go to like every summer when we were kids. So I really didn't know what to do. And, you know, eventually I found a kind of front desk for Universal within the airport. And, you know, the guy there was really helpful. I was like, don't you guys, I read that you guys had a shuttle to get to Universal. He goes, we do. But straight up, dude, you're not going to want to take that shuttle. It costs like $40.
Ooh.
And I was like, oh, fuck. I thought the shuttle was free. And he goes, no, it costs like $40. So you're better off taking an Uber. Uber is going to run you like $20 to $25. And I was like, yeah, we'll do that. So get an Uber, go to the hotel. The hotel that we stayed at was so cool. It's Cabana Bay Beach Resort. It's one of Universal's on-site hotels.
Okay.
And the whole thing, I took pictures of it. I'm sure you saw. It's got this kind of 50s kind of like funk vibe to it.
Yeah, it honestly looked pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really like, it's got this cool, colorful, just sort of fun vibe. And we loved it. Inside is a shop, which I think they all have gift shops inside. They had a pool, they had a lazy river, they had 2 bars, 3 or 4 indoor restaurants, and a complete dining area.
They straight up had a lazy river?
Yeah, there's a lazy river outside.
Nice.
They had one of the restaurants inside was a 24-hour pizza delivery service.
Oh no.
That they could just deliver pizza to your room. I only took advantage of it once.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you only doing it once.
It was fine pizza. It was kind of small and kind of expensive, but anyway. They had a full bowling alley and a arcade, all inside of the hotel. Like, nice. I was telling Anastasia, I was like, we literally could just vacation here for a week and never leave the fucking hotel. Because there's plenty of things to do in the hotel. It's relaxing. It's got, you know, free good Wi-Fi. It's got the pool, the lazy river. It's got 2 bars. It's got all this shit. Every night they screen movies in this like lounge, and like kind of 50s movies, you know, like black and white movies. Mm-hmm. And it was a really cool hotel, great experience. Like, we're totally gonna stay there again. But the best part about it was our hotel room had constant shuttle service going to the parks. So like at any point we would go, and anytime we wanted to, there was always a shuttle waiting for us to take us to the parks for free. It was great. So essentially, another thing that our hotel room came with was early access to the parks. So we could actually get into either one of the parks at 8 o'clock in the morning versus 9 o'clock when they open to the general public.
Oh, damn.
So on the first night, we got in, and we just sort of like, just kind of relaxed in the hotel room a little bit. We're both pretty tired from the flight and everything like that, and we're like, fuck it, let's kind of freshen up. Let's kind of clean up a little bit, and let's go and explore. We couldn't get into the parks just yet. Our park tickets weren't until the next 3 mornings, but we could still go on Universal City Walk. Universal City Walk essentially is a boardwalk that leads up to the parks that you can get into for free. It's just, you just walk there, and it's just got all these like shops and restaurants, and at night it's really pretty and like lit up and everything, and it's really, really cool. So the first night we just kind of hung out on City Walk, and we ate at this restaurant called Cowfish. Now, I had done a ton of research leading up to this vacation. I was just kind of like, where are the best places to eat? That's always my first things. I'm a fat boy. I'm always trying to look up where the best places to eat are. And Cowfish was something that just kept coming up and coming up and coming up. So Cowfish essentially is a sushi / burger bar, which is weird.
All right, then.
It is, you can go in there and you can literally get a sushi roll at the same time as you could get a burger and fries. And they even have, if you want to get really weird, they even have like sushi burgers where like the patty is like a big like rice patty with sushi in the middle of it. And it's fucking, they have like sushi rolls that have like burger meat in it. It's fucking weird.
No, I'll be completely honest with you. I'd eat it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd try it too, but we were not feeling adventurous that night. Her and I both got just burgers. But I'm going to be straight up honest with you. Some of the best burgers I've ever had at a restaurant. Like,
really?
Really good. And really affordable, too. I think our entire meal, we each got burgers and fries, and I think our entire meal was like $25.
That's not bad.
And yeah, it was delicious. I got this like bacon, sauteed onions, barbecue sauce. I think it had some A1 like cooked into the meat. And man, it was on like a toasted like brioche bun with like 2 different types of cheeses. Oh, keep on going. I'm almost there. It was amazing though, and like the fries are really good, and our waiter was really friendly, and we just had a great like first night. And we went to Cold Stone afterwards, and it was just, City Walk is great. Like all the best restaurants are on City Walk, and because you go into the parks and you're just eating like shitty theme park food that's really overpriced, but if you go just a few steps outside to City Walk, there's some really like actually legit restaurants out there, and I highly recommend that. I'll shout out another one that we ate at, I think on like the second or third night, Bread Box. It was the second night because we saw it after we saw it. We went to Bread Box afterwards. And man, Bread Box is really, it's a sandwich place. I had maybe the best patty melt I've ever had in my entire life. It's easily within the top 3, if not the best patty melt I've ever had. Anastasia had a tuna sandwich that was out of this fucking world. This tuna sandwich was it was cut in half, and just looking at the cross section, just the height from the bottom of the bread on one slice to the top of the bread on the other slice, probably like 6 inches thick. Just like layer of tuna and cheese and pickles and avocado and lettuce and tomato and shit like that. I mean, it was fucking nuts. And it was on this nice like Dutch crunch kind of bread.
Okay.
And it was crazy. And her sandwich I think was like $8.99 for her sandwich and some fries and a drink. I was like, holy shit, man. Like, my patty melt was great, but it was like way smaller and like more expensive and shit like that. Anyway, so those are the 2 restaurants that like I am totally going back to when we go back to Orlando one day. It's going to be Bread Box and Cowfish. If you are ever in Orlando, Cowfish and Bread Box are amazing. Anyway, so getting a little bit more on track. So the next day, after we had our first kind of night in City Walk, we wanted to call an early night because we knew we were going to be waking up early the next day to go to Harry Potter. That was kind of like a main drama. Huge Harry Potter fan, as you know. Me being a huge Harry Potter fan is going to be important to this story later. Coming into this thing, I knew I was going to propose to my girlfriend. I had an idea of where I wanted to do it and how I wanted to do it. We already had a ring picked out. She knew that I was going to propose to her, and she probably assumed that I was going to propose to her during our vacation in Universal, because it's like, there's never going to be a better place to do it, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
But I had the seed was planted in my mind of like, I want to propose to my girlfriend like in front of Hogwarts. Like I want to get, because we bought a photo package where it was like, I think it was like $80, and we got unlimited photos taken by their on-site photographers. So they're just these roaming photographers throughout the parks that, you know, you stop and they scan your badge to kind of verify that you have the photo pass, and they just take your picture, and it's automatically uploaded to this app where I can download as many as I want. I got 2 prints for free, and I can get as many prints as I wanted at like a discounted rate. So it was pretty cool. So we had like a ton. I think we literally had like 50 or 60 pictures taken of us throughout the entire trip. But I had it in my head that like, okay, there's got to be a photographer in front of Hogwarts. Why wouldn't there be? You know, like it's the perfect place to take a picture. There is a bridge between Hogsmeade and Jurassic Park on Islands of Adventure. There is a bridge where you just get this beautiful shot of Hogwarts Castle in the background. And I'm like, there's no way they don't have a photographer there. That's the perfect place to have a photographer. And so, you know, as we're walking in, through Harry Potter, through Hogsmeade, sure as shit, there is no photographer on that fucking bridge to be found. And I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to seem like overly disappointing because I didn't want her to know. But I was like, oh, fuck, there's no photographer. Well, like, what am I going to do? You know? And I'm jumping ahead a little bit because I did not propose to her until our second day in the park, because throughout the entirety of the first day, we walked by that bridge several times. There was never a photographer there. And I didn't say anything about it because I didn't want her to know, but there was never a photographer there. We stayed from like 8 in the morning until about 6 or 7 at night each day. And there was never a photographer there either time that we walked by on the first day. So I didn't say anything, but the second day we came back, and I kind of mentioned, like, damn, I wish there was a photographer on the bridge. That's, like, the perfect place to take a picture. And she just goes, oh, yeah, I was thinking the same thing. My girlfriend was like, I wanted to get a picture in front of there, too, but, whatever. And I was like, well, maybe I should just ask, like, a random person to do it. And she goes, do you really care that much to get a picture there? And I was like, it's just a great shot. I mean, you got Hogwarts in the background. It's so cool. And she goes, yeah, but she's like, we could just take a selfie or something. I was, and I'm trying my best not to like let her know that I'm like planning on proposing to her. And so, I'm trying not to drive it home too hard, but a little bit later we're walking by and getting like our 5th butterbeer. And the lady at the butterbeer cart, I asked her, I'm just sort of like, so do they ever have like photographers on the bridge, like with Hogwarts in the background? And Anastasia just kind of rolling her eyes. She's like, holy shit, he will not let this go, And the lady's like, I've seen them before. They used to have a dedicated one there, but now they just kind of come and go as they please. And I'm like, fuck, all right. So, we walk back by, no photographer. After a few hours, we happen to want to go to the Jurassic Park section, and there's the photographer there. Finally, right? I noticed, because they all have the same like black and yellow camera. And I noticed this little Asian lady is sitting there with the photographer, with the camera. And so I asked her, I was like, hey, you're a photographer, right? For Universal? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, can you get here's my photo pass. Can you please get our picture in front of Hogwarts Castle? It's so cool, blah, blah, blah. And we take a few pictures or whatever. And Anastasia goes to walk off or whatever. And I goes, and I asked the photographer, I'm like, hey, actually, I have one more idea for a photo in mind. Because basically she would just say, oh, hug. Oh, you have your wands. Take out your wands. Or give me a thumbs up, or or give it, have a kiss for the camera or whatever. And I just, before, I kind of pulled Anastasia back and I was like, asked the lady, do we have time for one more actually? Can we just get one more? I had a quick idea. And then of course I got down on my one knee and pulled out the ring and everything. And Anastasia starts crying, and we got our engagement picture right there with Hogwarts in the background. And, of course, she said yes. We're engaged. We drew a little bit of a crowd. People were watching us, and it was funny because Anastasia was like, she just had this. We've been together for 6 years, right? Over 6 years, and she's been living with me for like 5 years, and we just, marriage to us, we feel like we're already married. We feel like we've been married for years. So marriage to us is just a known quantity. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't feel like a necessity, but the engagement and eventual marriage is just kind of making it official. You know what I mean? So, and also just gets our parents to shut up about it.
Yeah, you were tired of hearing, what you waiting on, D?
tired of hearing that shit. So yeah, if the time was right, we had to get it done. But it's been such a known quantity to us that when I asked her, will you marry me? It didn't even really process in her mind, because to her, in her mind, it was like, of course, yes. Like, why are you even asking me? So she's just crying and like laughing. And the people, we drew a little bit of a crowd, and the people in the crowd are just kind of like, I think somebody actually said, she's just laughing at him. And so, yeah, she eventually sort of clicked that she needed to say yes or no. And, she nodded her head yes, and we hugged and kissed, and everybody was clapping and saying congratulations and blah, blah, blah. It was a nice moment and everything. And, but it was just funny because, like, she just had the yes was so obvious in her mind, her body didn't even think to say it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, it's just sort of making it official. But that didn't happen until the second day. I just wanted to get that engagement story out of the way, because that is easily the biggest thing that happened on this trip.
Oh, it definitely is.
But so I mean, I'm off the market now. Sorry, ladies. So yeah. So the first day though, we get in. Like I said, we had early access at 8:00. We made a fucking beeline for Diagon Alley. In Diagon Alley, there's a video of me on Facebook that my fiance took, where I'm just like beside myself. I wasn't crying or anything, but I was just like, just ear to ear grinning, I was just like, holy shit. As a huge Harry Potter fan, like, it's crazy. It's crazy to step through and hear the music and just you feel like you're in the fucking world. I mean, you really do. It is so detailed, and like all the shops and the butterbeer tastes amazing. And like, they have these like, so we bought interactive wands where you'll see these symbols on the floor, and you can interact with things with them. So the symbols will kind of draw an outline that you're supposed to make with your wand, and it will make something happen in the real world. So, for example, there will be a statue of like there'll be a statue that's like holding an umbrella, and you make the movement, and suddenly the umbrella starts spurting water and stuff like that. It's really cool, and you see a bunch of kids doing it, and sometimes it's a little bit finicky, but we had this one guy, we couldn't get one of them to work. And whenever you struggle with one, they have helpers. They have wizards just completely in character the whole time. They have like crew members that are just ready and willing to help you, and they have wands of their own. And one of them was this like badass old wizard guy who came up, and he just takes out his wand, and just the way he held it, like he held it almost like it was a pencil. Like he had such confidence about it, And he just like, it almost looked like he was not casting a spell as much as he was like drawing a spell into the air. And he just like instantly made it work. And he's like, oh, years of experience, blah, blah, blah. I was just like, this guy's a badass. And he's this old like wizard guy with like a beard and shit like that. And he talked to us about how a witch is not appropriate. They're all wizards, Wizard is a non-gendered term. And if one of them, when we went into Nocturne Alley, one of the things like I think there was one where you could like make a sign turn on or something like that, and it wasn't working. And the lady there, again, they're not allowed to break character, so the lady there was like, oh, the ministry has cast a jinx on this one or some shit.
Oh, yeah. Lord, I love it.
They're not allowed to break character. And I actually went into one of the shops, and I didn't want to spend a whole ton of money on merch, because I knew a few things going in. Okay, I knew we were going to be buying wands, which are $50 a piece. First of all, the interactive wands, they're expensive.
Oh, Lord.
So we were each getting a wand. We knew that up front. I got Harry Potter's wand. She got Snape's wand. I just think, I'm not trying to be a basic bitch to get Harry's wand. I just think Harry has a cool looking wand. I've always thought that. Harry Potter's like kind of, he just has a cool fucking wand. I don't know. I like it. I think it'd be more basic if I had gotten like the Elder Wand or some shit, you know.
Yeah, you'd be a real basic bitch if you did that.
Yeah, the Elder Wand. I didn't want to get like Voldemort's wand or anything like that. Harry just has a cool looking wand. I don't know. But anyway, I knew we would be getting those. I knew we would be buying a fuck ton of candy because, you know, they have Honeydukes and Sugar Plums, two sort of like sweet shops that just have a shit ton of like Harry Potter themed candy that you can't get anywhere else. So they have the chocolate frogs and the fizzing Whizbees and like all that fun shit, you know. We spent probably like $70 on Harry Potter candy. We still have plenty of it. Peppermint toads, and we bought some peppermint toads, and like Anastasia got this. It's called Choco Choc, and it's basically hunks of dark chocolate that have chili powder in it. So it has like a burn at the end of it.
Of course.
It tastes like, you know, it tastes like normal chocolate, and then at the end of it you got that burn. And so we got some of that. She got toffee tongues, and just fun like dumb Harry Potter candy. And so we got that. We knew we were buying that, and I knew that I was probably going to wind up buying a Hufflepuff shirt because Hufflepuff merchandise is few and far between. Like, you can go to any Hot Topic in the world and find like Gryffindor and Slytherin merchandise, but it's hard to find Hufflepuff merch.
Because everybody shits on the Hufflepuff.
Everybody shits on us Hufflepuffs, man. So it's gotten a little bit better, but people are mean to the Hufflepuffs. I did see quite a few Hufflepuffs at Universal. So I knew I was probably going to end up buying a Hufflepuff shirt. So I did. I bought one, a really nice, high-quality Hufflepuff shirt, which is what I'm wearing in my engagement picture. When I bought the shirt, I wanted to change into it immediately. So I go to the bathroom, right? And nobody else was in the bathroom. I was just kind of in the stall changing my shirt. And apparently an employee had come in to like use the bathroom. And I'm still in the stall this whole time. I don't think they knew I was in there. And this other guy came in behind the employee, and he goes, hey man, like, I'm sorry. I know it seems like I've been getting on your case a lot lately. Like, I know you're new. You can't come in here. And he goes, why not? I'm just trying to use the bathroom. Okay, you can't come in the guest bathroom. We have employee bathrooms. We have crew member bathrooms. You do not use the guest bathrooms. They cannot see you. He's like, you're a fucking wizard. He didn't say this, but he's like, this is sort of what he meant. He's like, you're a fucking wizard right now. They cannot see you take a piss, basically. He literally, that's what he didn't literally say that, but that's what he meant, you know? He's like, you can't be, he's like, the guests cannot see you out of character. That is like our number one rule. They cannot see you out of character. So you cannot, you know, just come into the guest bathroom. And he like kind of chewed him out a little bit, and I guess they didn't know I was there. Anyway, so Harry Potter, both of the Harry Potter parks are amazing. The ride on Hogwarts Express is amazing. God, they have so many cool like sections, like even something dumb. There's this little section on Islands of Adventure called Toon Lagoon, which is a really cool sort of like bastion of like old comic strip IPs and like old cartoons, like Popeye's there, and there's a little Nemo statue, and I'm talking about like you know, like there's all kinds of like Rocky and Bullwinkle, Marmaduke, like all these like old school kind of cartoons and comics, and it's cool that like that has representation there. The weirdest thing to me is Marvel Superhero Island. So it's weird because, you know, Disney owns Marvel now, and there's all this Marvel shit in the Disney parks now. But in Universal, they still are allowed, I guess, to have all this entire Marvel section. There's a Spider-Man ride, which is probably one of our favorite rides in the entire park that we tried. There's Doctor Doom's Fearfall, which is just one of those drop rides. And then there's like the Incredible Hulk, which is like notoriously one of the most badass roller coasters out there. And it's just weird, man, because like you're walking around and you're seeing like all of these kind of like pre-MCU Marvel things. Because like if this was like, you know, if this had anything to do with the MCU properties, Disney would not let that fly. But this is like kind of the early 2000s, late 90s Marvel stuff. So like they have an entire Fantastic Four cafe, and they have like, you know, they have like X-Men running around, and they have a giant Wolverine statue and stuff like that. And it's just kind of cool. You're kind of like, damn, shit used to be simpler. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, now it's all fucked up with like all the rights and everything, and you know, like all the Marvel Cinematic Universe and all that. Like, shit used to be so simple. You could just have a Fantastic Four cafe. You don't get that anymore. It's like kind of sad. Yeah, all these kind of 90s like Jim Lee art everywhere, you know, and I don't know, it was cool to see, but it also kind of bummed me out because I'm like, the world is never going to be this simple anymore, because the comic book industry and the comic book movie industry makes too much fucking money now.
Yeah.
It can't be simple. It can't just be what it was, you know. The Amazing Spider-Man ride though, oh my god, it's so cool. It's like a 4D experience. So like,
okay, literally
it's a 3D ride. You're the premise is you're working for JJ. And you're on this vehicle of his called the Scoop. And it's, you know, it's one of those like simulation rides, but I swear to god it feels fucking real. It has you like on a platform, and it just kind of moves the car. So you're never in any real danger or anything like that, but it feels real, god damn it. You have 3D glasses on, and basically like you get tangled up in like the Sinister Six, or a Sinister Syndicate rather, and you know, like you get tangled up in a fight between them and Spider-Man, and it's really cool because like, you know, Electro catches your car and like shocks it and makes the entire car like kind of shake violently as if it has an electric current going through it, and you know, like Doc Ock like is throwing boulders, and it feels like the car is getting hit by boulders and shit like that, and it culminates in this you know, like water and fire is like splashing out and like burning out at you and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It culminates in this cool moment where Doc Ock takes a hold of your car and throws it, right?
Oh yes.
And you feel like you're just soaring through the air, and you just kind of see New York City underneath you. And you end up just plummeting down towards the city streets. And I'm telling you, dude, it doesn't even look very good because it's a pretty old ride. So like the CGI kind of looks like shit. But just in the moment, it feels fucking real. It feels real. You feel like you're about to die. And it sounds so stupid, but I swear you need to watch a video of this or something. Because I swear to you, it feels real. And you go plummeting towards like the city street, and of course Spider-Man catches you with his web, and it's cool because it you know, the car kind of bounces as if you're getting caught by the web and everything like that.
Nice.
It was such a cool ride, and man, Kong Skull Island was really cool. It's at Kong Skull Island is actually their latest ride, so like from a technological perspective, it was amazing. It was another simulation ride, like Spider-Man, where it was like in 3D or whatever. But the difference is, in Spider-Man and in Simpsons and in other rides like this, you just have like one kind of static screen in front of you. Mm-hmm. In Kong, the entire room is a 360 screen.
Oh, nice.
So you can look anywhere you want, and it's like a 360 screen. You can look anywhere. You're riding in this sort of like almost like a tour bus kind of thing, and you know, like all the shit happens where like these fucking mutant bugs like attack, and some of the other tour guides are on the 3D screen like killing them, and the blood, you know, water splashing out at you, and it feels like you're getting covered in their blood and shit, and anyways, it ends up like some T-Rexes attack, and like they throw you off this cliff, and Kong comes in and saves you and shit like that. And it's all cool. It's a little boring. It doesn't move around as much as I would have liked it to. It's not quite as scary as like Spider-Man was. But what's really impressive is at the very end, the tour guide's like, all right, fuck, and finally we all survived. We're out of the woods. Go ahead and take off your 3D glasses. And there's an enormous animatronic to your right of King Kong. It's real. It's a real animatronic.
Fucking nice.
And it's huge. Like, dude, it looks real. Like, it is so detailed. like it literally looks like King Kong is right next to you, and it's a real animatronic that's like moving around and looking at everybody. It's fucking nuts, and it blows like wind out of its nose and stuff like that. And man, like it's cool. Like it was just from a technical perspective, it was cool to see. But our favorite ride by far was Men in Black Alien Attack.
Oh yeah.
You probably saw me post about it. We rode Men in Black Alien Attack multiple times. That was the one ride that we just kept going back to because we had so much fun on it. So you're on a track and it's a shooting game. Okay. So I think you can fit I think it fits like 6 to 9 people. It's rows of 3, so I think it's 9 people in a car, and you're all potential Men in Black agents. And it starts off, you're just kind of like a shooting gallery, and then shit goes south. Like all the aliens are loose on New York City or whatever, and now you're shooting real aliens. You all have those little cricket guns from the movie, you know, and you all have access to the big red button and everything, you know. And there are little things like you're not supposed to press the big red button until the very end, where like you end up fighting like this huge ass bug, and if you use the big red button, you get like a huge score bonus. Midway through, so there's 2 cars on the ride at any given time. It's you and your car and another set of potential agents in their car. You guys both go through a scanner, and it tells you, hey, the other team, they're aliens in disguise. So now you're shooting at the people on the other team, on the other car. And you can actually shoot the exhaust port on the back of their car and make them spin out. It actually makes like their car like spin in circles. And that's obviously worth like huge point bonuses. And anyway, by the end of it, it scores you for each of your like individual ranks. So there's like bug bait for the lowest score, galactically average, and then galaxy defenders, you know, which is a nice little reference to the theme song. The first time we rode it, we were bug bait. You know, we sucked. We didn't know what the fuck we were doing. Okay. The next time we rode it, it was actually just Anastasia and I. My fiance and I rode it by ourselves, and we both sat in the front seat, and we got galaxy defenders. We got the highest score just with the 2 of us, which was awesome. Because we wanted to see what happens if you get Galaxy Defender, and it like unveils this like suit, this, you know, your Men in Black suit, like this you know, kind of lifts up a curtain and you see the suit you'd be wearing. It's like bathed in light and shit like that. It's so cool. It's such a fun ride. We loved it. That was probably our favorite ride at the whole park. But you know, I won't go into too much more detail about the rides. We rode the Jurassic Park ride though, which was so. Anastasia's big thing. She went to Universal when she was like 5 years old. I don't know if I've told you about this or not. Anastasia went to Universal in like California when she was like 5 years old, and she never rode the Jurassic Park ride. She was too scared. So like her whole family rode it, and she just had to stay behind with like the fucking, you know, the person conducting the ride. And she's always regretted never riding that ride. So her whole goal with this trip was, I'm gonna ride that fucking Jurassic Park ride. We got on it, and it starts off, it's a water ride immediately. You're in a boat, and it starts off, they're just kind of introducing you. It's like this whole kind of slow, like it's playing the music. Anastasia's all emotional. She's like crying and bawling because you know, the music of Jurassic Park is pretty fucking emotional, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And, you know, these like animatronic dinosaurs looking all majestic and shit. You know, just kind of like eating the leaves and shit like that. And it looks kind of dated because the ride's kind of old. But anyway, eventually, because it's Jurassic Park, eventually shit goes south.
So I'm trying to remember. I feel like I've been on this ride.
Oh, really?
Is this the one where, like, right before the drop is a T-Rex roaring at you?
Yes,
I've been on this ride. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah. So you know then. So shit kind of goes south. You see these, like, torn up fences.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's like this box of velociraptors that kind of like, they act like they're about to drop it on top of you and stuff like that. And there's this really, you go into this completely dark room where there's like those like spitter kind of dinosaurs that are like spitting water at you. And, you go on this slow incline up. This really, it felt like it was going on for like fucking 30 minutes. Like just You're just slowly going up at what feels like a totally ridiculous angle, and Anastasia's like getting scared. She's like, I did not sign up for this. I did not sign up for this. Oh shit. Oh shit. And then it's like a tiny little drop, and she goes, oh, that wasn't that bad. And then all of a sudden this T-Rex comes out and you do the real drop. The fucking T-Rex comes out and roars at you, and then you do the drop that's fucking insane. It's like this long drop and man, like you feel yourself kind of coming out of the seat. And, like, I try not to scream on rides. I really try not to scream. Here's my thing. My only stipulations were, I don't want to get wet, and I don't want to go upside down. Those are my stipulations for riding rides. I knew I was going to get wet on this one, but I was going to do it because it was kind of the whole, she wanted to ride it and everything like that. So I rode this one, but those are my only things. I do not like going upside down on roller coasters, and I do not like getting wet. This drop, though, I was not planning on screaming. In fact, because it takes a picture of you when the T-Rex comes out, it takes a picture. Yeah. So I was kind of like preparing myself to hold up a peace sign and try to look bored for the picture, But as soon as the drop started, that shit went out the window. And if you look at the picture that I posted, I'm like screaming in the picture because like I said, I didn't expect that drop. That drop was fucking intense, dude. Like, I almost couldn't help it. Like, I was trying not to scream, but just a scream just sort of escaped my body. And, like, I try not to scream on rides because I don't have, like, an excited scream. My scream just sounds angry. So, like, I'm literally just like, ah! And everybody on the ride's like, what the fuck is this problem? Some
piece of shit ride.
Yeah, like I'm like, ah, and
that's good.
And Anastasia's fucking, having the time of her life and shit like that, and I got fucking drenched. She didn't get very wet 'cause she was sitting next to me or whatever. But anyway, fun ride. I was good after that one time though. I was like, I'm good on that shit. Fuck that drop. I am good. She wanted to ride it again or whatever. I was like, you can ride it again by yourself. She wanted to ride on the Incredible Hulk. I was like, nope, fuck you. That goes upside down. I'm good.
Man, see, I love roller coasters, bro.
Do you?
Any aspect of roller coasters, I love them. I'm actually a real big fan of wooden coasters.
Okay.
Arguably, my favorite wooden coaster is it's the Beast in was it Busch Garden? I think it's Busch Garden. It's like a fucking place in like I think it's Ohio or some shit. But the other one shit like the loops, the corkscrews, the fucking loops. I love them. Love them.
I hate going upside down. That's my whole thing. And I think it comes from me wearing my hair long too. Like, I don't like my long hair kind of like going everywhere. And
I feel that.
And getting wet too, like having long hair when you get wet, like my hair is naturally curly, and when it gets wet, it gets even more curly.
Sweet boy, I know that life. I haven't known it for a long time, but I know that life.
Yeah, I know you wore your hair long for a little bit, but so coming off of the Jurassic Park ride, I just looked like a fucking mess, And that's my only real issue with it. It's not really a fear thing; it's an uncomfortable thing.
I feel that.
Like, it makes me uncomfortable to go upside down. It makes me uncomfortable to get wet. So, it is what it is. But we had a really good time. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to mention about the park specifically. Oh, yes. I would be remiss not to mention the live Barney show that I attended.
Oh, I saw the pictures, and I think my mother commented on it that me and my sister would love it, which is very true.
So, growing up, I was a massive Barney fan.
Same.
Up until I was probably like 7 or 8, if not older, maybe embarrassingly old for all I know. I don't know. I was a huge fucking Barney fan. And we knew that Barney was kind of like had his own he has a little corner in Universal. It's very, very small. It's not like Barney has like his own, that's not Barney Land or anything like that. But there's a little section kind of near the Dr. Seuss kind of area. There is like I forget what it's called, but there is a big Dr. Seuss kind of area, and Barney has a space around there. And anyway, there's a live show that just happened to be like 15 minutes. We kind of walked by it, and she goes, "Oh shit, we told your mom we were going to get a picture of you with Barney." And I was like, "Well, I don't know if we're going to be able to. And when's the next show?" Turned out the next show was like 10 minutes away. So I was like, "Oh shit, fuck it, let's go. Let's see the fucking Barney show." All right. We went in there, not really expecting much. I kind of thought it was going to be just like a 10-minute little show that like just kind of get the kids to shut up or whatever and buy them a Barney doll or something like that. But no, this was like a 45-minute show. Like a 30 to 45-minute show probably. It starts off, Barney's got this like assistant who kind of has this like she's got this kind of like farmer kind of look. Her name's Peekaboo. Are you familiar with Peekaboo?
I actually don't know.
I don't remember if Peekaboo is in the show or not. For some reason, I think she is. I might have to look this up. But her name was Peekaboo, and she's kind of Barney's assistant. And anyway, she kind of sets up the stage, and she sings a couple of songs or whatever, and interacts with all the kids. And she goes, "Okay, everybody, like close your eyes. Let's imagine a park together, with benches for us to all to sit on, and like plenty of room for us to dance around, and trees and flowers and blah blah blah." And then you walk into the next room with her, and that's exactly what it is. It's this huge park, and there is this stage. There's this enormous stage in the middle of it with several ramps. And when we sat down, I noticed sort of the indication of like a giant square in the middle of the stage. And I leaned over to Anastasia, my fiance. I was like, Barney's gonna pop out of that fucking stage. I was like, Barney's gonna come out of the middle of the stage. I'm telling you. And she goes, "Everybody, let's imagine he's here. Let's, everybody close your eyes." And she had the little Barney doll, and she sat the Barney doll on the floor, and she goes, "Everybody say it with me, Barney, Barney." And we began the fucking séance. and began to summon him. And everybody in the room is like, "Barney, Barney, Barney." And then like the lights go down for a split second, and sure as shit, he pops out of the floor in a big like kind of explosion of confetti. And it's playing the theme song, "Barney is a dinosaur," And he's running around. He runs around in a circle, and before he does anything else, he looks at me dead in the face and waves at me. He waved at me first before he waved at anybody else. And it was weird. It was a weirdly kind of like, I felt like a kid again. You know what I mean?
I'm going to be real with you. I would probably enjoy that way more than I would want to.
I couldn't believe it. That was some of the most fun we had on the entire trip. Because, like, they sang songs, and, like, all these kids were just having a good time and dancing and shit. And I recognized all the songs. Like, I hadn't listened to or sang these songs since I was you're going back 20 years. You know what I mean?
So, the real question is, was my boy BJ in there?
Your boy BJ was in there.
That's what I saw. I need to know.
Baby Bop was in there. I thought it was just going to be the Barney show, but no, yeah. He brings Baby Bop and BJ out there, and they're all singing songs together. And as Barney... He was always fucking moving, so I couldn't get great pictures of Barney, but like it was nice because BJ and Baby Bop, they would like kind of play to the camera a little bit. I actually got really good pictures of them. But Barney, his suit's so fucking big. I'm sure if you stand still in that suit, it's gonna be like 200 degrees inside of there, especially since the Florida heat was so fucking miserable. But man, it was a great show. Like, we just had a great time. And I was kind of like just making my fiance laugh next to me the whole time because she's, she didn't grow up with Barney like you or I did. So she's just kind of like recording me the whole time and just kind of like having a good time with me. And we were both just kind of blown away. There was no judgment. We were by far the oldest people there that did not have kids. Everybody, if there were adults there, they had kids with them. Like, we were the only ones there that did not have any kids with us. But there was no judgment at all. Like, we just sat there and we had a great time. We sang along to the songs. Barney was like, "Oh, I'm imagining, everybody imagine with me that it's gonna snow." And I'm like, "Make it cold, Barney. Make it cold, Barney." And he's like, "I'm imagining the rain." I'm like, "Make it rain, Barney." And we're just like kind of like having fun with it. You know what I mean? And at the end of the show, Peekaboo comes back up on stage, and she's like, "There's going to be a meet and greet immediately after the show with Barney if you guys want to line up over there." And I was like, "All right, well, here we go. We got to get a picture for my mom of me and Barney or whatever." And my fiance goes, "Are you going to hug him?" And I was like, I mean, I'm not just gonna go up to him and like, I mean, there is a dude in that costume. I'm not just gonna like walk up to the guy and just hug him or whatever, and and I'll like shake his hand or whatever and take a picture with him, but it'd be a little bit weird. I don't even know if he would be okay, because it might be a little creepy to him. I'm a fucking grown ass man. We step in line, and all these kids are going through and getting their pictures with Barney and blah blah blah. And she kind of makes a point to come and talk to us, and she goes, "Okay, which one of you you're up with Barney?" And my fiance points at me, and she's like, "I could tell you guys are big Barney fans." She's like, "I could tell that one of you grew up with Barney." She's like, "I had so much fun watching you guys in the crowd, just kind of like loving it, and singing along and everything." And there are a couple points where Barney was like, "Get up out of your chairs," and I was like, "I'm not doing that, Barney." I'll sit here and I'll sing and I'll have a good time, but I ain't getting up, Barney. But
oh shit,
I am not doing that, Barney. But yeah, so like we just had a good time and everything. And anyway, I get up to meet Barney. It's finally kind of my turn, and Anastasia's got the camera ready, and I walk up to him. He immediately grabs me and hugs me.
Oh God, I love it.
He hugs, and like I said, I just kind of felt like a kid, like if I went back in time 20 years and told my 6 or 7 year old self like hey, like one day you're gonna get to hug Barney, you know what I mean? Like it was just kind of cool. Like it was kind of weirdly like cool and emotional in a weird way. And I sat there and I took a picture of Barney and took a picture with Barney, and my fiance came up and we all got a group photo with Barney. And when it was all said and done, I fist bumped him. Barney went in for the fist bump.
God bless.
And it was like, unironically, it was like some of the most fun we had during the entire trip. Barney was like a total highlight of the trip, and next time we go, Barney is going to be one of my first stops. Like it was,
I love it.
It was a great time, and like it would be so cool if like we could all go together one day, experience the Barney together.
Bro, that shit would be insane.
I had way more fun than I should have, but anyway.
No, like I kind of knew, like when I first saw the pictures, I'm like, damn, I would have too much fun with this.
Because again, there was just no judgment in the room. Nobody was like, "Oh, this creepy motherfucker! Look at this old fat white guy here, trying to act like he's probably gonna try to steal one of these kids or something like that." But no, there's no judgment at all. It was just kids singing and dancing and having fun. And just my fiance and I, kind of leaving all of the adult cynicism at the door, you know what I mean? And just enjoying life, enjoying Barney. But we had a great time overall, and we ended up seeing it that night. We saw it in IMAX, and the movie was great. I think you're gonna go see it, so I don't want to say too much because we.
Yeah, I plan on seeing it within the next couple of days. We'll probably end up doing a shots on that.
Yeah, we'll probably do a shots on it whenever you go see it. But it's really, really good. Go see it. And yeah, we just sort of like when it all was said and done, it was time to head back to the hotel and grab our bag and head out. So Florida, because of Hurricane Irma, is in a huge state of emergency. And we went back to the Orlando airport, and it is a fucking madhouse. Like it is like standing room only. There's so many people there trying to fly out, and like apparently they had like reduced rate tickets for people evacuating. They actually offered me, when I went to check in my bag, they offered me $200 to give up my flight for a later flight. I was like, no, I'm good. I would love to help people out, but I'm like, I want to get home. I didn't want to risk anything going wrong if I like went for a later flight or something. I was like, I just want to get home. But so we get there, and man, we were going through security. Probably took over an hour. It was a nightmare. I got sick on the last day, which I'm still kind of recovering from, as you can tell. And our flight got delayed a couple of times, and when we get on the plane. First of all, our assigned seats were taken by this like old lady who like couldn't speak any English and didn't know that she was sitting in our seats. So we tried to like ask her like, hey, like, you know, she couldn't understand us. So I had to awkwardly get the flight attendant and have the flight attendant tell her that she was sitting in our seats and move the fucking old lady out of our seats. That was awkward. I was fucking exhausted because like up until we went on vacation, I had probably 5 hours of sleep in like 48 hours. And I was just exhausted, and then like when we actually got to Orlando, I wasn't getting much sleep because you and I both work overnight, so our sleep schedules are already fucked up. But then on top of it, having to wake up at like 7 a.m. to get ready to go to the park at 8, I was just broken, you know. Mm-hmm. And then walking around the park in the Florida heat for like 13-hour days, like I was just done. Ugh. So I was like, I'm going to try to get a little bit of sleep on this flight, because here's the real kicker. After the flight was over, I was going to have to drive myself home. And I'm sick on top of it. So I was not having a fucking good day. The security was handled poorly. The bag checking process was a pain in the ass. When we finally get onto the plane and we finally get the woman out of our seats and we finally get seated down, my ears pop and they do not unpop. Because as it turns out, you are not supposed to fly when you're sick because your shit is all inflamed. And when your ears pop, as they normally do on a plane, they normally just immediately unpop or whatever. And you might get a little bit of pain, but for the most part, you're fine. When you're sick, you could you could severely damage your hearing. But you could also just straight up not hear for like days, which was the case with me. My left ear popped within that first day. My right ear did not pop until like yesterday. So I was just not in a good fucking place. And luckily my fiance was like, she was the one that drove us home, but she was really tired as well. She didn't have it quite as bad as I did, but she was still really tired. And by the time we got home, we both passed out, and I think I slept for like 9 hours. And it was rough, dude. Like it was, getting there was so smooth. Getting home was a nightmare, and it was mostly because of the hurricane. And because of getting sick and everything like that. But it was a good trip overall though, and I got engaged. It was a memorable trip. I got plenty of pictures, had a good time. Next time we go, I'm going to go when it's not so goddamn hot, when there's not so many goddamn hurricanes. But Orlando's good. Universal Studios is good. I'd recommend it. There's probably a bunch of shit that I'm leaving out, and I'm sure my fiance is going to be like, why didn't you talk about this, whenever she listens? But that's all the important things that I could think of to mention off the top of my head. I know you went to like Disney World, didn't you?
I did both. I did Disney World and Universal.
How old were you when you guys went?
I was young as shit. That's why like I barely remember it. Like the only reason I remember the fucking Jurassic Park thing is because of big ass T-Rex.
Because it's terrifying. Yeah, they've had that ride for a while.
Yeah, I was young. I was like, shit, single digits young.
Yeah, you know what's funny is like so many parents take their kids when they're like that young, and I don't see, if you're gonna spend, and I'm not gonna get into specifics, but it was like close to like the $2,000-ish area just for us to go for like 3 days, and Universal's the cheap one. Like Disney would have been twice as expensive. Like we probably would have spent $4,000 or $5,000 on a 3 or 4 day vacation at Disney.
Yeah, I think we went as like a massive family. It was like my family, it was my grandparents, and it was my uncle's family as well. You
spend all of this fucking money though, and like if you're gonna take your kids when they're that young, they're not even gonna remember it.
That's some real shit right there.
You know what I mean? Like my parents actually did that with my younger siblings when they were probably 6 or 7. They don't remember a damn thing. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you guys spent thousands of dollars for these kids to not even remember this shit. When I take our kids, they're going to be old enough to remember. I'm talking like 10, 11, 12 years old. Anyway, that was really my first real theme park experience. We used to go to Six Flags every summer when I would come up. And
Six Flags is nothing special. Six Flags is a good time, but it's nothing. It's not like Universal or Disney.
Yeah, is it a theme park? Yeah, but it's not like on the same scale at all. Like
I've been to a couple of Six Flags. I've been to Great America, and I've been to the one in Texas.
Yeah, the one in Texas. Was it Astro World? I think they called it.
Some shit. I've been to that one, and I've been to the one that I live by.
Yeah.
So
Great America or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, I've been to those two as well. Those are the two that I've been to. And I remember Six Flags. We used to go there every Halloween. My mom would get free tickets. She used to work at a radio station, and she would get free tickets.
You know what? You mentioned Halloween, so I'm gonna shit on was it Fright Fest or whatever?
Oh, is that from Six Flags? Yeah.
Fright Fest annoys the shit out of me. I'm gonna go on a rant real quick.
Okay.
Shit don't scare me.
No, me either.
But I get punished by people getting scared. I was a kid. I got knocked down by two grown ass women because they got scared and jumped back into me.
Seriously?
Yes. Yeah, the guy that scared him like instantly. He's like, "Oh shit!" It went up. He's like, "That's funny." He went up to me and helped me out. But he's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "It's all good."
I don't get scared by shit like that just because I always have the mentality of like, you guys can't hurt me.
That's my deal. Know? It's like I just look at. It's funny as I'm just sitting there walking around the park, and I'm just like, my sister gets scared, and I'm like walking around. I'm like, and they're just like, "Ah," and I'm like, "How you doing?" Keep on walking.
They legally, you can't hurt me. So.
They can't do shit. It's just the jump scares and all that.
Yeah, so that's my whole deal. That's why that shit never really gets to me. Yeah. Like, you guys literally can't do anything to me. So, but yeah, speaking of that, they actually were setting up a bunch of stuff for Halloween Horror Nights at Universal. So there's like pumpkins and stuff like that everywhere. They took down a lot of it.
Yeah, I think I saw one of your pictures. It was like a bunch of pumpkins in the trees and shit.
Yeah, and they have these things called scare zones. So like, there's a whole zone that's set up to be like the Purge. There's a zone that's set up to be like Trick or Treat. There's a zone that's set up for some other fucking horror movie. All these like kind of like popular horror movies. I think Annabelle is one of them. So they have all these different scare zones. One of them's like an alien attack. There's this giant crashed UFO and stuff. It's cool, It was cool to see all the Halloween stuff out, but I don't know. That was kind of my first real theme park experience, though, and I was kind of glad that I had gone as an adult. I had a good time. It wasn't bad, and I got engaged out of it, got a fiance out of it.
There you go. Put a ring on it.
Yeah, I liked it, so I put a ring on it. It was about time. It really was. But anyway, I think that's gonna do it for us this week. You've been listening to us here at Nerd Bourbon. If you had a good time listening to me rant about fucking Universal Studios or listening to us talk about video games, throw us a follow or a sub on whatever service you're listening to us on, whatever service you want to listen to us on. If there is a service that we aren't currently on, let me know so we can get on there. You can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/nerdbourbon, and we are at Nerd Bourbon on Twitter. But beyond that, the best way for us to grow is for you to tell your friends. That way, more people are listening, more people are rating and everything, and that just does nothing but help us and help us produce more content for you guys. So thank you so much for listening. Get fucking dunked on. Bye.
Skate 4. See ya.
Almost forgot about it.
Almost. I almost did.